Good morning. This is Miss Maggie T with Lush Exchange. And if you're new to the channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss another post from me. But I want to go into how to forgive. If you're on that journey and you want to heal, the first step is to forgive. And it might be hard for some people. I understand it. You might still be holding some bitterness, some anger about what happened to you. But in order to heal, you have to let that go and forgive. It's only the right way to do it. So I'm going to start you off with a quote, like I always do. It's Daily Motivator, Daily Vitamin. Let go the grudges of yesterday and hold on to the hope of tomorrow. Just let you read that for a minute. But of course, I always go into some steps that's going to help you forgive when you think it's impossible. Okay? All right, so let's start. How do you forgive even when it feels impossible? Forgiveness isn't something you do for the other person. Whether it's a spouse who was unfaithful, a parent who let you down as a child, or a friend who shared something told in confidence, we all must face the question of whether and how to forgive. After you are wrong and the initial wave of emotion has passed, you're presented with a new challenge. Do you forgive the person? By forgiving, you let go of your grievances and judgments and allow yourself to heal. While this may sound good in theory, in practice, forgiveness can sometimes feel impossible. I get it. To learn how to forgive, you must first learn what forgiveness is not. Most of us hold at least some misconceptions about forgiveness. I'm going to give you some ways of why it doesn't mean what you think it means. Forgiveness doesn't mean you are pardoning or excusing the other person's actions. Forgiveness doesn't mean you need to tell the person that he or she is forgiven. Forgiveness doesn't mean you shouldn't have any more feelings about the situation. Forgiveness doesn't mean there is nothing further to work out in the relationship or that everything is okay now. Forgiveness doesn't mean you should forget the incident ever happened. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to continue to include the person in your life. And last, forgiveness isn't something you do for the other person. By forgiving, you are accepting the reality of what happened and finding a way to live in a state of resolution with it. This can be a gradual process, and it doesn't necessarily have to include the person you are forgiving. Forgiveness isn't something you do for the person who wronged you. It's something you do for you. Just always remember that. So if forgiveness is something you do for yourself, and if it can help you heal, why is it so hard? I know a million people ask that question. Why is this hard to do? And there are several reasons why. You're filled with thoughts of retribution or revenge. You enjoy feeling superior. You don't know how to resolve the situation. You're addicted to the adrenaline that anger provides you. You self-identify as a victim. Or you're afraid that by forgiving, you have to reconnect with the person. These reasons not to forgive can be resolved by becoming more familiar with yourself, with your thoughts and feelings, and with your boundaries and needs. Now that you know what forgiveness is not and why it's so hard to do, ask yourself, do I want to forgive? Forgiveness requires feeling willing to forgive. Sometimes you won't because the hurt went too deep, or because the person was too abusive or expressed no regret. Do not attempt to forgive someone before you have identified fully, felt, expressed, and release your anger and pain. You gotta let that pain go. If you decide you are willing to forgive, find a good place and time to be alone with your thoughts. Then try following these steps that I'm about to give when it feels impossible. Think about the incident that angered you. Accept that it happened. Accept how you felt about it and how it made you react. It's okay. In order to forgive, you need to acknowledge the reality of what occurred and how you were affected. Acknowledge the growth you experienced as a result of what happened. What did it make you learn about yourself or about your needs and boundaries? Not only did you survive the incident, because you're strong, perhaps you grew from it. Now think about the other person. That's hard, I know. He or she is flawed because all human beings are flawed. He or she acted from limited beliefs and a skewed frame of reference because sometimes we all act from our limited beliefs and skewed frames of reference. When you were hurt, the other person was trying to have a need met, basically. What do you think this need was? And what did the person go about it in such a hurtful way? Why? Finally, decide whether or not you want to tell the other person that you have forgiven him or her. If you decide not to express forgiveness directly, then do it on your own. Say the words, "I forgive you," aloud, and then add as much explanation as you feel is merited. Forgiveness puts the final seal on what happened that hurt you. You will still remember what happened, but you will no longer be bound by it. Having worked through those feelings and learned what you need to do to strengthen your boundaries or get your needs met, you are better able to take care of yourself in the future. Forgiving the other person is a wonderful way to honor yourself. It affirms to the universe that you deserve to be happy. Absolutely. Someone hurts us in a way that feels unbearable, and we say, "I will never forgive you." Someone wounds us emotionally or physically, and we think, "That's unforgivable." Yet, we constantly being told that forgiveness is vital for our mental health. Why? I know people are very skeptical of forgiveness. And they're uncertain if the certain things seem unforgivable. Certain people don't deserve forgiveness. I get it. And that even the concept of forgiveness sounds like very hard to do. But what is forgiveness is the question. Maybe you need a better understanding of it. Forgiveness is the letting go of a grievance or judgment that you hold against someone else. When you forgive, you also let go of feelings, bitterness, resentment, and vengeance. Many people have difficulty with the word forgiveness. We imagine forgiveness involves saying, "I forgive you," and includes a huge pat on the back or a blessing. That may be true sometimes, but not all the time. Forgiveness doesn't have to involve the other person, and it's not for their benefit. If the word forgiveness bothers you, you don't have to use it, or you can make up a new one. But processing emotional trauma and releasing old wounds is about more than a single word. Why should I forgive? Anger, bitterness, hate, these emotions weigh heavily on your body and in your thoughts. When you don't process and release your emotions, they remain trapped inside you and cause physical ailments like stomach aches and high blood pressure, and can worsen depression and anxiety. When you forgive and let go of a grievance, you are freeing your body and your mind. Forgiveness isn't the only way to let go of negative emotions, but it's one of the best ways. Do I have to forgive? I believe that forgiveness can be helpful to many, and its ability to heal your wounds may surprise you if you try it. But forcing yourself to forgive before you're ready could actually deepen your feelings of trauma and anger. Don't let anyone, including myself, try to convince you to forgive when you're not ready or don't want to. Do it at your own time. You are not broken just because you aren't okay with forgiving someone else's misdeeds. Okay? So I know there's some deeper things that goes on with just forgiving somebody. It's very traumatic. I understand that. So how do I do it? One simple exercise I do is encourage people to write. Find a quiet space, some uninterrupted time, and a pen or a pencil and paper. You can write a letter to the person who hurt you. Write out your feelings, your thoughts, your experiences, and your anger. Remember, this letter is for you. No one else ever has to read it. Now try writing a second letter, if you're comfortable with that, with your other hand. Writing with your non-dominant hand, meaning your left hand if you're usually right-handed, can help override the analytical, judgmental part of your brain. You may find your writing is freer and more emotionally honest this way. You want to get all the emotions you bottled up moving and flowing through your pen. Imagine all your anger and bitterness and resentment and sadness moving from deep inside your body to the page. Even if you don't think you can ever forgive or you don't want to, a writing exercise like this can help you regain some control over disruptive, negative thoughts. When someone hurt us, it's normally to hold onto feelings of anger and resentment and want revenge. But when we cling to our anger because it feels justified, we can't heal. Whether or not you feel that forgiveness can be a part of your healing process, the healing process itself is vital. While you heal, keep the focus on yourself. Focus on what you can do to make your life better and more whole. That's what I got for you. So, I do hope that helps you see why forgiving is so important for your health and benefit, and not for nobody else. Because it's just that relief when you just say, you know what, I forgive you. And you're not allowed that to hold you down anymore. You just feel so much better. Even if you do just say, hey, I don't have no hard feelings towards you, even if you leave it at that. I mean, not saying you don't have to speak to the person that hurt you, but letting them know that you're unbothered by it at this point. Sometimes that guilt can hit them, and you know that. But by doing it, it's not holding a cloud over you. You start to see things a little bit differently. You finally are able to breathe again. And I dealt with that throughout my life. Here's a personal about me. I was raped at the 9th grade year by an older person. And I was not in the place I should have been by trying to cut school and be this bad little child. But at the same time, it shouldn't have happened. So I went through life trying to blame myself for it. And it affected my relationships, who I seeked into, what I did for myself. I lived a life of trying to mask it pretty much. So that required, drinking and things like that, hanging with the wrong people, Getting in relationships that where they knew my vulnerability and they took advantage of it, you know. Still to this day, I still deal with those feelings. Like I said, it never goes truly away, but I've become stronger from it. And I know when it's time to go at this point, when I hold on too long to something that I don't need. So I've been there. I've been you. I'm still that. But I know how to cope a little bit better with it. I know when I've had enough, you know, and there's no regret to it. It gets tough at times when you're like, dang, man, you know, here I am again. But it's the best decision for me. And life is moving at a pace that I love right about now. I'm successful. I have more time for that. And I was allowing people to hold me back. Friends, colleagues, lovers. It's time that you take yourself back. And it's you don't have to stick around in that abusive relationship. You don't have to stick around for any of it. Learn your self-worth. You know, learn it. Get yourself together and move on. Reach out to somebody. But don't sit there and think that this is the only place you can be. And that's what you accept. You need to calculate your steps more. Find somebody you can reach out to and go. There are places where you can go. If it's hard to escape, there are anonymous places you can go. You and your family, that will help you. A lot of shelters and things like that. It might be your lowest, but it's the help that you need. So if you're listening to this and you just can't get out of a situation, there are ways you can do so by, let's say you're ordering a quote unquote pizza. There are keywords you can say that they will pick up on, even if you're calling the, call the police, but mask it as something. There's other methods of doing things, and I can help you with that. If you wanted to message me privately on Instagram at Miss Maggie T. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. All right, but don't let it destroy you, and don't let the past change you into something that you're not happy with. Okay? All right, till the next time, people. I had to get serious right there for a minute. I'm Miss Maggie T with Lush Exchange, and I appreciate everybody that listens to me every day. This is my last one for the week. I guess I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. All right. Have a good day, people. Peace.